What's up guys, Spencer with $3 here, welcome back! Today we're going to be taking a look at some crazy Clash Royale stats. Do you hang to the left or do you hang to the right? Guys, I've always wondered, do most players drop on the right or on the left? Most people would say it's to the right, but I wasn't entirely sure. I think I actually changed. I used to play on the left and then switch to the right. Now guys, I played about 100 battles, I was counting what my opponent was doing, and then we realized we could do this much easier, so we went through all the Royale TV replays, and we counted. We counted whether people are dropping on the left or the right. There's a goblin barrel. That definitely counts to the left. Anybody who dropped a building in the middle, kind of it's supposed to be in the middle, that didn't count at all. So guys, I also asked you on Twitter what you think you placed on. 48% of you think you placed on the left, 52% on the right. Now that doesn't actually match with what we saw on Royale TV, because when we added them all up to find out what the results were, we saw that people who placed on the left, of all the ones we counted, there was 57 people who put their first troop down on the left hand side, 98 placed on the right, which is 63% more people are placing on the right. Guys, I'm not entirely sure, maybe it's different in different countries, maybe it depends on what kind of side of the road you drive on. I have no idea. I don't know what, maybe it's if you're left or right handed. Guys, another stat I wanted to check was, is your flop, is it random? The starting deck that you get, the first few cards you get, do you think that they're random? I've always wondered about this. We know that your opponent, you do not get a random opponent, depending on whether the game wants you on a win streak or a lose streak. Depends on what deck you're going to get. But do the first cards you get, are they random? I'm not entirely sure. Now, most of us, on what deck we're using, we have a favorite couple of cards to come up first. These, flashing across your screen now, are my last 50 starting hands. I screenshotted them all, did 50 battles, so that then we can count up whether we think that it's random or not. What do you think? Do you think it is? Well guys, it turns out that 50 is nowhere near enough times to find out whether it's random or not. How many starting hands do you think there actually are in the game? How many different combos of the first 4 cards do you think there are? Guess now? Well, it's probably a lot more than you actually thought there was. This is the calculation right now. We need to divide 1,680 by 24, and that gives you the answer. And so this tells us that there are 70 different possible starting combinations, which means in 50 battles I didn't even get every possible starting hand. So it's unlikely actually that we can tell whether it's random or not. But let's have a look what I actually got. Now my favorite starting deck includes the Knight and the Pump. So let's see how many times I started with just the Pump. Those cards on the left, those are when I started with the Pump. It should be 50% of the time. It's slightly more than 50% of the time in those battles, but that's pretty much close enough for me to assume that's fairly average. That seems like it's random enough. This is how many times I started with my other favorite card, the Knight. It's less than half the time, but still it's fairly close. Looks random-ish. What about how many times I started with them both, which is definitely my favorite 2 cards to start with. That should happen 25% of the time. So guys, those cards on the right, that's how many times I got my favorite start. It's actually 9 out of 50. You would actually expect it to be something like 16, 17 times, but it's close enough. So guys, it's fairly random. That's all I can confirm, that it does seem like it probably is random, but I don't know for sure. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you reckon. Is it random or not? Now guys, the third stat that we need to calculate for sure, how many different decks can you make in Clash Royale in total? How many decks are there? Now we have 71 possible cards. Now that we've got the Bandit, let's work out how many decks you can make. So guys, the way to work this out, and I should be able to do this, my dad is actually a maths teacher. He would kill me if I couldn't figure this out. So the calculation is this: 71 times 70 times 69 times 68, all the way down to 64. And then you divide whatever this number is. Let's see. It's 420, is that trillion? 428 trillion. Then we need to divide that by 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. And that will give us the total number of decks available in the game. And the answer is... it's 10,639,125,640 total decks you can make in Clash Royale. So guys, with that many decks available, then you could probably play a different deck every minute for the rest of your life and still not play like a 10th of them something. I've not even worked that out. So guys, but there are ways that you can get help making decks. Here's one that a lot of people in the clan use, Deck Shop Pro. This is very, very good. It helps you pick a deck for an arena, helps you pick a deck based on which card, and the advice it gives you is actually very, very good. Even some of the best players would agree with a lot of what is said on this website. So guys, what you can actually do is put the deck that you are using right now in here, and it will tell you what's wrong with your deck. You got a problem with your deck? Well, let's have a look. So we'll put mine in, Arena 11. All you need to do is click on the cards which you're currently using, or the cards that you want to use, and we'll see what the problem is. Now, I did do this earlier, and what I can tell you is the answer it gave me as to what I would have problems with are exactly the things I do have problems with. So I can confirm that this website definitely knows what it's talking about. So this is the deck I've been using to count up these left and right starts. It says I've got great defensive potential, which is true. Offensive, not bad, so that's good. Counter's good. But warning, no medium or high damage spell. Problem, no way to deal with opponent's pump, and that is true. That is one of my biggest problems. And no fast cycle cards. And I do have problems with Three Musketeers and pumps. So that website, pretty good, guys. Don't forget to check it out. Also, if you're a stalker and you want to know people's stats, you can go to this, Starfire, and you can just put somebody's hashtag in there and find out all the stats about that player. The decks they've been using, the challenges they've been winning, but also it gives you a stat which you don't find on a normal player profile, which is this one. How many losses you've had? 5,000? No. Website's broken. I've not lost 5,000 times. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope those stats were interesting to you guys. I'll be back a little bit later. I've got a friend of mine. We are going to be doing the clan battle, and this is the best thing that's ever happened to the game. It's so unbelievably awesome. So I can't wait to make that video for you guys tonight. I'll see you a little bit later. Until the next time, you guys take care.